Well, good evening. It's News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Desawe Kanda. I am Portia Gabo.
Good evening, and I am Noble Crosbyan, and let's look at the headlines of the bulletin tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
VALCO board chair assures workers smelter is not for sale, saying government is committed to resetting operation for job security and profit.
And also coming up tonight, New Patriotic Party General Secretary says the party is not considering changing its leadership in Parliament.
Tonight, some artisanal fishers in the Volta and Western regions are strongly advocating for their inclusion in this year's close season.
And later in business news, the Association of Ghana Industries says the country's industrial sector stands ready to help process at least half of the national cocoa output.
Later in foreign news, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights says rapid support forces violations in Sudan during the capture of the city of Al-Fishir amount to war crimes and possible crimes against humanity. Welcome to the program. We're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Join us there. Let's get interactive and settle for the details of the stories.
We begin from Parliament, where the chairperson of the Food, Agric and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Dr. Godfred Jiso, has described the minority's demand for the dismissal of Cocoa Board CEO Randy Abbey as unrealistic and not practical. According to him, the reforms announced by government is the best way to transform the cocoa industry, saying the reduction was influenced by prevailing prices in neighboring countries.
The minority in Parliament on Thursday accused the chief executive of Cocoa Board of mismanagement and a failed reset that has plunged farmers into ruin. Reacting to this, Chairman of the Food, Agric and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Dr. Godfred Jasau, disagreed with the call for the dismissal of Randy Abbey.
The reasons for where we are, I think Randy Abbey is rather doing a lot well and a lot better to keep the ship at sail. And so, please, let's not personalize it. There have been structural deficiencies. Randy has been able to hold on this far. He's been able to manage in a way that can guarantee us some sustainability going forward, some growth going forward.
He explained that measures announced by government, including the 28% reduction in the farm gate price, are timely and driven by data.
So far, we have bought already about 530,000 metric tons. This has been bought already. And so if you are dealing with data, per the projection and from recent trends, it means that the cocoa beans left in the field, all other factors held constant, means that they are not more than 70,000 metric tons. And so it's actually wise that you reduce the producer price for the rest of the 70,000 yet to be mopped up.
Dr. Godfred Jasau assured cocoa farmers of government's continued support through the supply of fertilizers and the continuation of the green spraying program to boost productivity.
Government is intervening in your next production cycle season with a block, because we are coming in with free fertilizers, free spraying, and free productivity improvement programs for you. We as Parliament, be assured, we will follow this and make sure that inputs gets to the right farmers. So be rest assured, with that environment, what you experience this year, you are not going to experience it next year.
And still in the cocoa sector, the Majority Leader Mahama Yariga says he will relate with the Finance Minister to appear before Parliament to brief the members of the measures to address the problems in the cocoa sector. First Deputy Minority Whip Habib Idrisu requested the Finance and Agric Ministers as well as the Cocoa Board CEO to address the House on the current crisis. But the majority leader observed that farmers have expressed excitement with the plans announced by the government. We apologize for that. We'll bring you that interaction later. But in the meantime, the Deputy Managing Director in charge of operations at Cocoa Processing Company, Kwame Osei-Griffiths, has touted government's decision to have 50% of cocoa beans processed locally as an enabler to industrialization and job creation. With the current production of 1,000 cartons of chocolate daily, the readily availability of cocoa beans with the introduction of reforms would push production levels to increase by more than 100%.
Government's new reforms are aimed at attacking the prevailing cocoa sector crisis. The 50% processing of cocoa beans domestically from the 2026-2027 crop season comes as good news to the cocoa processing company. The new reforms will position the company as Ghana's leading cocoa processor. The revival comes at a time when the government is poised to strengthen the cocoa value chain, boost production capacity, and create more jobs. Deputy Managing Director in charge of operations at the Cocoa Processing Company, Kwame Osei-Griffiths, mentioned this will create more jobs.
I think it is in the right direction that every nation, instead of transporting, it's just like you are a maize farmer and you've decided that, okay, you would now, go to the Nika and grind it and make it a more before you sell. The person who is even transporting it to the Nika, gets to be employed. The person who is the Nika machine operator also gets to be employed. So, to add that value to the cocoa, process into semi-finished and then into confectionery, in that chain, there's a lot of people who are going to be getting, the end a living out of that, and that's exciting news.
He further announced that there are enough chocolates to meet the rising demands of the National Chocolate Day celebrations.
It's something that we're excited to grind as much as we can now that beans is not going to be a bottleneck. And as for chocolates, we produce a lot. That's a chocolate man standing there. We produce a lot of cartons in a day, in the neighborhood of 700 to 800, sometimes 1,000, cartons in a day. So that is when it comes to especially 100 grams of chocolate. And we are looking to, in a very few months, to more than double capacity.
As part of the reforms, there will be reduction in raw cocoa exports, promotion of local processing, and ensure that Ghana derives maximum benefit from cocoa resources.
And away from the cocoa sector, Accra's traffic congestion is worsening, costing commuters hours each day and the economy millions of cedis annually. Government says relief lies in a proposed 20-year green digital city project spanning 3 regions. But months after feasibility studies were expected to begin, what has actually changed? Deborah Abba-Mensah has more.
From Tema to the ministry's area in Accra, from Medina to the central business district, what should take under an hour now stretches into 3. According to the transport studies, the average commuter in Greater Accra spent about 110 minutes a day traveling, much of it stuck in traffic.
Things are not moving. Look at the traffic we are incurring. The traffic alone, moving from your place or your home to the office, take you about 2-3 hours before you get to the office. What are you going to do? And you'll be leaving office around 4 instead of you closing 6 o'clock. Because of traffic, you want to leave earlier so that you can get home. And you have family keys at home. You understand? Accra is really choked.
All the works and the public places all located in Accra because and it has dragged many people from the country, Ghana, to stay in Accra, all because they can't find job at where they are unless they come here.
For many residents, Accra is no longer just busy, it is overwhelmed. The economic cost is significant. The World Bank estimates Ghana loses about $200 million annually due to traffic congestion from lost productivity, fuel waste, and delays to business operations. Parliamentary data also shows about 70% of major roads in Accra are congested during peak hours, with vehicle speeds dropping below 20 kilometers per hour. President Mahama in May 2025, whilst addressing a Durbar of chiefs and people at Dodowa, said the new city will be located somewhere on the Accra Plains from Bundase, straddling across the Greater Accra, Eastern and Volta regions. In his January 2026 New Year message, President Mahama said foundational works for major reforms, including a new city, was laid in 2025 with 2026 set for scale-up.
As a permanent fix to decongest Accra, we'll begin the design and feasibility study for a new city. Some of the government offices and agencies will be moved out of Accra to the new city.
The project, branded the Green Digital City, is planned as a 20-year smart development across Greater Accra, Volta and Eastern regions. For development experts, the greatest threat is not money, but political discontinuity.
We need to plan how we can gradually, with our little resources, commit something to it. Are we committing part of our oil money? Or now that we are discovering lithium, are we going to use part of the lithium money? Are we going to use part of our internal generated funds? We can never sit and get $10 billion to start it. No, it cannot happen. Our needs are so many.
If the project is not anchored in a national development framework, successive governments may deprioritize it.
If you are expanding to new locations, we need to plan, and then we need to know where exactly are we going to expand this city to. Because if you are saying we are developing a new city, that doesn't mean that we are going to abandon Greater Accra. Definitely Greater Accra will exist, but are we limiting certain things that can congest Greater Accra and taking them across, particularly about the ministries and then where we do government business? Are we talking about creating new working environments around certain areas or the new city area so that we can divert people working life and time towards those locations? If that is planned, then we can get there.
While the long-term vision unfolds, Accra's daily gridlock continues. Even as government promotes the smart city vision, residents say relief cannot wait 20 years. For now, Accra remains congested, and the real test may not be the announcement of a new city, but the execution of immediate solutions already within reach. Deborah Bamensa, TV3 News, Accra.
And now to some other stories tonight. Board chair of the Volta Aluminium Company, Horace Ni Ayi Ankra, has moved to calm rising anxiety among workers, assuring them that the state smelter is not being put up for sale, despite widespread speculation about a possible divestiture. Addressing staff at the Durbar, he stressed that government remains committed to resetting VALCO under the 24-hour economy agenda, guaranteeing job security as the company steadily returns to profitability.
The Volta Aluminium Company, VALCO, has been in the media spotlight since 2022, following reports about a possible divestiture of the state-owned smelter. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation has also publicly suggested moves to attract private capital into VALCO, citing persistent operational inefficiencies. The development sparked strong opposition from workers who staged agitations and demanded the immediate removal of the GIADEC CEO. In a bid to calm tensions and address growing anxiety, the board of directors of VALCO held a Durbar with staff on Friday to listen to their concerns and clarify management's position. Management revealed that it inherited a company burdened with a legacy debt of $243 million, with about $214 million owed to Ghana Grid Company for unpaid power supply. Currently, only 2 out of the company's 5 production lines are operational, running at just 20% capacity. Despite these challenges, management says significant retooling has taken place under the current board, resulting in the company returning to profitability since December last year. Dr. Robert Makila Sambien is Chief Executive Officer of VALCO.
The power debts, they are legacy debts mainly. One thing that we lose sight of in the conversation is we say when Kaiser was there, it was making profit, and when Kaiser left, the company started making losses. But you have never asked, how much was Kaiser paying for power? And when Kaiser left, and it became government of Canis, how much was the company made to pay for power?
Board chair of the state smelter, Horace Niayi Accra, assured workers that VALCO will not be sold.
VALCO is not for sale. However, VALCO will welcome anybody at all who wants to work with VALCO to making sure that the president's vision of industrialization is achieved. In saying that, it means that we are also assuring you of your job security.
He indicated that government intervention will come at the appropriate time, as VALCO is being repositioned to support the proposed 24-hour economy policy.
The president is not being selective, but the president is prioritizing what will reset the country. Certainly, when the time comes, the proper injection will be seen by all.
Meanwhile, chairman of the VALCO Workers Union, Samuel Watchman Ajiman, called on management and government to prioritize the welfare and long-term interest of workers.
In September 2024, the previous government nearly sold this company for $300 million. If that happened, we'll meet it today to sell it. We are committed to VALCO. We are committed to productivity. We are committed to partnership. But respect must be mutual.
As management pushes ahead with efforts to stabilize operations and expand production, workers say their continued support will depend largely on transparency, job security, and sustained profitability. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Tema.
In more news tonight, General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justine Frimpong Kodia, says the party is currently not considering changing its leadership in Parliament. Speaking on TV3's New Day, he maintains that the NPP is satisfied with the leadership of Alexander Apenyumakin.
I don't see why at this point the party wants to change the leadership in Parliament. For what reason? So it's something that has not come on the table. Overwhelmingly satisfied, because we know the work that the mighty minority under the leadership of Apenyumakin have been doing. And certainly we will continue to give them all the needed support for them to be able to continue to perform their job. But we are impressed. We are very impressed. We are very elated about the work that they have been doing as a minority group. I'll continue to encourage them that, yes, we went through a difficult period, particularly in 2025, but we have been able to come out of it successfully. And if, as a party, we are able to close our ranks, if, as a party, we are able to continue the reorganization that we are doing, I'm very convinced that in 2028, we shall come back to power.
To some other stories tonight, condom, just use it. Protection is power. That's the simple message being put across by the Ghana AIDS Commission as statistics on HIV continue on an alarming rate. Marking International Condom Day the first time, health experts are worried that more than 40 Ghanaians acquire HIV every day.
Statistics from the 2024 national estimates indicate that 334,721 people are living with HIV. In 2024 alone, the country recorded 15,219 new infections, meaning more than 40 Ghanaians acquire HIV every day. Even more concerning is that 1 in every 4 newly infected persons is a young person between the ages of 15 and 24. The data also shows that 47% of people living with HIV are not aware of their status, making it more alarming. This is why the Ghana AIDS Commission and partners are now intensifying the correct and consistent use of condoms. For the first time, Ghana joined the rest of the world to mark International Condom Day.
We must recognize that treatment alone will not end the epidemic. We must prevent new infections from occurring in the first place. This is why condom promotion remains central to Ghana's HIV prevention strategy. International Condom Day is a call to action. Let us act to reduce new infections. Using condoms is responsibility, it is love, and it is maturity.
The experts emphasized that condoms remain one of the most effective and affordable methods of preventing HIV, other sexually transmitted infections, and unplanned pregnancies.
The National AIDS STI Control Program under the Ghana Health Service reaffirms its commitment to expanding access to quality assured male and female condoms nationwide, intensifying youth-focused and community-based prevention programs.
Director General of the Ghana AIDS Commission, Dr. Kamasil Prosper Akambong, said the Commission would be distributing free condoms.
The quest for a healthy Ghana is a collective enterprise, and it will be refreshing for corporate Ghana to also support healthy workplace by considering providing free condoms as part of their respective workplace practices. The Commission will proceed with its plan to raise funds to procure and install condom vending machines at strategic locations across the country. This will provide another facet of choice and access to Ghanaians.
A reminder, life is not just about emotions, it is also about protection and consistent condom use, and it remains one of the most reliable prevention tools available.
To a rather sad story, and 2 children have drowned in a newly dug manhole at their family residence in Abokobi in the Yilo-Krobo municipality of the Eastern Region. The bodies of the victims, all males aged 8 and 9, have been deposited at the Yilo-Krobo District Hospital for preservation and autopsy. Yvonne Nikwe has filed this report. Bring you the story in our bulletins as and when we get it. In more news tonight, members of the Vehicle Embossment Association of Ghana are hopeful that conversations of out-of-court settlement with the DVLA, an original manufacturing and embossment company limited, will be fruitful. Earlier, the High Court granted leave for the parties to amicably settle the matter out of court. The plaintiffs, VMAG, have filed a suit to restrain DVLA from rolling out a new vehicle number plate system.
When the case was called on Friday, February 13, lawyers for Original Manufacturing and Embossment Company Limited, led by Professor Kwame John, indicated that the second defendant had initiated settlement discussions with the plaintiff's lawyers. Lead Counsel Embossment Association, Martin Pebu, affirmed the settlement conversations and pleaded with the courts to adjourn proceedings. So the parties can try to do so amicably. On their part, lawyers of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority noted that they were not opposed to the suggestions by lawyers of the other parties. Presiding Judge Justice Isaac Addo then adjourned proceedings and ordered the parties to file the terms of the settlement before the next hearing. Spokesperson for the Vehicle Embossment Association of Ghana expressed satisfaction with the development.
We have no problem with the manufacturer. All we are saying is that you cannot add our job, which is embossment, to the manufacturer. And now that the court has agreed for a settlement, we hope that the DVLA and OMEL will agree and give us our job.
The case has since been adjourned to February 17 for continuation. Lord Idwasari, TVC News, Accra.
Let's return to our earlier story where 2 children have drowned in a newly dug manhole in their family residence in Abokobi in the Yilo-Krobo municipality of the Eastern Region.
2 children reportedly returned home from school but were later declared missing after several hours. A frantic search by family members led to the discovery of their lifeless bodies in a newly dug manhole in the backyard of their home. The family and neighbors with assistance from personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service retrieved the bodies and was declared dead by the Yellow Krobo District Hospital. The Somanya District Police Commander Superintendent Kingsley Abakwa urged property owners and residents to ensure that open drains, wells and manholes within their homes are properly covered and secured to prevent similar tragedies. The grandmother of the deceased, Doris Tete, described the incident as devastating for the entire family.
Yes,
How do we tell our story? This is a big book to my family. Who call me grandma? One should even be alive for you to tell us exactly what happened to them.
And may the souls of the children rest in peace. But moving on, Vivo Energy, distributor and marketer of Shell-branded fuels and lubricants, has donated medical equipment, chocolates and flowers to the Department of Child Health at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital in celebration of the Month of Love. The gesture forms part of the company's corporate social responsibility, with staff joining in to support children and patients.
Energizing Hope is Vivo Energy's annual initiative to share love and support with the underprivileged. Managing Director Christian Lee said the donation this Valentine's season to the Department of Child Health at Kolebu Teaching Hospital reflects Vivo Energy's commitment to supporting Ghana's healthcare.
Caring is one of our values, and this is for us to also show how we care for the communities. The kids need lots of love, and it's always painful to see kids not in good health. So this is part of our contribution to share some equipment to the Department of Child Health, so that maybe they can get a better health.
Pediatric oncologist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Ernestina Shandolf, expressed gratitude to Vivo Energy for the support.
The donation of the infusers and perfuser, usually these are very vital equipments that are required to give exact doses to children, especially children who are very, very ill. So thank you so much to Vivo and the team.
Nivanch Medicals Ghana Limited, a healthcare solutions provider, applauded Vivo Energy's efforts.
We sincerely congratulate Vivo Ghana for their meaningful initiative they have taken. It's not just a donation, it's about the responsibility towards the society. As a healthcare solution, we believe business success comes hand in hand with the impact of society.
The donation reaffirms Vivo Energy's dedication to improving access to quality healthcare in Ghana.
We are Vivo Energy.
MTN Ghana Foundation, in partnership with CalBank, has led the Save a Life blood donation drive. With a target 7,000 units of blood, the exercise aims at supporting the National Blood Service and regional hospital blood banks nationwide.
Since its inception in 2011, the Save a Life blood donation drive has collected over 26,000 units of blood. According to management, this initiative has saved lives and contributed to improved healthcare delivery in Ghana. The Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Stephen Blewett, highlighted the importance of the exercise.
26,000 bloods have been donated. That's 26,000 Ghanaians who have had their lives saved in operations and childbirth, etc., etc. So really important. This year, we're doing it in conjunction with CalBank. There are facilities, 44 around the country.
Touching on the need for collaboration toward positive causes, the CEO of CalBank, Carla Sem, said the partnership with MTN Ghana marks the beginning of many more initiatives to come.
We'll do greater things together as the two forces in banking and telecommunication come together. I think we should be able to add a greater life to the society in Ghana by making sure that our delivery in the healthcare infrastructure is solid.
The CEO of National Blood Service, Dr. Shelley Owusu-Ofori, while commending the MTN Ghana Foundation and CalBank, reiterated the need for everyone to volunteer and donate blood.
You save lives of people you do not know, and on this day of the Save a Life projects, we say Ayiko to you, and we say well done, and continue to save lives.
The Save a Life blood donation drive brought together staff and volunteers who turned out in their numbers to donate blood ahead of the season of love.
News 360 has some business, news, sport, entertainment, and more coming to you after this break. Don't go away.
They said they want to set up small processes in areas where the cocoa is produced. And we are ready to do that, where we can convert the cocoa bean into cocoa powder and the butterfat. We can convert the cocoa into various production. We don't need to export any processed cocoa bean in a semi-finished form.
He suggested government leverages existing local factories, including those under the One District, One Factory of the previous administration.
Already, the previous government started 1D, 1F. Some of the factories are ready. Some are almost near completion. We need to finish them and start using them. If we want to start building factories, we need not less than 2 years for the factories to be ready. So first, we must make use of the existing factories to build their capacity to be able to do the work. And most of them are ready. Most of them can start doing second shifts. Once the market is there, we are ready to take off immediately.
The National Council of the AGI reaffirmed its commitment to continued collaboration between the private sector and government.
In a related development, Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, has thrown his weight behind government's pivot toward market-based pricing and guaranteed minimums for the cocoa sector, describing the move as a necessary step to protect the livelihoods of Ghanaian farmers. Speaking in the wake of sweeping reforms announced by the Ministry of Finance this week, the veteran financial analyst noted that aligning farm aid prices with international benchmarks while maintaining a safety net is the most sustainable way to manage the industry's volatility.
Government's new strategy includes a legislative proposal for a cocoa board bill which aims to guarantee farmers at least 70% of the gross free on board price. This reform marks a departure from the traditional fixed pricing model, which often struggled to adapt when global prices fluctuated widely. Joe Jackson, who has frequently been critical of Cocoa Board's historical debt management, noted that these reforms could finally address systemic inefficiencies.
The move towards market-based pricing and guaranteed minimums, excellent. It's good for the farmers. On the second hand, if they strengthen financing mechanisms, it will only help Cocoa Board be better placed to buy cocoa and to trade cocoa. Listen, that can be a problem. The third thing is that we wish to add value to the domestic economy. And then there is the focus on accountability.
He observed, however, that there are certain risks that need to be addressed.
Execution risk. And I suppose we will talk about operationalizing domestic bonds and the risk they carries. We will talk about the fact that Cocoa Board may need some more institutional reform. And are these local agencies that are going to add value? Are they well placed to add value, or they're going to destroy value because they are inefficient? Those are questions we have to ask. And what is going to be done to mitigate that risk?
Government recently adjusted the producer price to 41,392 cedis per ton to reflect a downturn in global benchmarks, a move aimed at clearing payment arrears and restoring liquidity to the sector.
Away from that, Ghana's economy maintained its growth trajectory in November 2025, expanding by 4.2% year-on-year, according to the latest provisional monthly indicator of economic growth released by the Ghana Statistical Service. While the economy remains in expansionary territory, the new figures indicate a notable moderation in momentum compared to the 7.1% growth recorded in November 2024. Now, the MIEG serves as a high-frequency gauge of economic activity, providing a pulse check on the nation's health before quarterly GDP figures are finalized.
It means that overall economic activity in Ghana was 4.2% higher in November 2025 than in the same month in the previous year. This 4.2% is what we call the growth rate from the MEC index. In plain language, Ghana produced 4.2% more goods and services in November 2025 than it did 1 year earlier. It is important to note that the MEC is not seasonally adjusted, since we don't yet have a longer series to enable deseasonalization. Monthly economic activity can rise and fall due to seasonal factors such as harvest cycles and increased end-of-year services demand. For this reason, we focus on the year-on-year growth, not month-on-month changes. Despite this volatility, the data shows a clear upward trend from November 2023 to November 2025.
Let's now check out how the cedi is faring against other trading currencies and how some of our key commodities are also faring on the global market. And that's it for business tonight on News 360. I am Menu. Our full sports news is up next. Please stay with us.
Why settle for a bouquet when you can have a vacation?
Join us at the Chill River Resort in Cater,
where the world stops and the focus is entirely on the two of you, just you and your lover.
From the 13th of February to the 15th,
we're leaving the chaos of Accra behind for a weekend of intimacy and play.
Think boat cruise,
the heat of a bonfire, and the kind of serenity that lets you explore every moment together.
Limited rooms are available for just 2,200 Ghana cedis only to enjoy 2 nights of luxury and pleasure.
Inclusive of special decor, candlelight dinner, and wine on arrival for you.
The room is ready. Are you?
Visit mgtix.africa
or call 054-788-6258 to book now.
Your most intimate Valentine yet is waiting. Why settle for a bouquet when you can have a vacation?
Join us at the Chill River Resort in Cape Town,
Where the world stops, the focus is entirely on the two of you.
At the Baba Yara Stadium, as both sides eye a win to climb up the standings and boost their chances of winning the Ghana Premier League title. Ahead of Sunday's encounter, 3 Sports takes a look at the big clash.
On Sunday, the latest installment of the Super Clash will take place at the Baba Yara Stadium, with fierce rivals Asante Kotoko and Hearts of Oak locking horns for the 120th time. The previous 119 meetings have belonged to the Porcupine Warriors, who have won 41 times, while Hearts of Oak have managed 38 wins. 1 win from 6 games since the turn of the year saw Kotoko head coach Karim Zito step down from his role. The Baba Yara Stadium is undoubtedly Kotoko's fortress, with the Porcupine Warriors picking up 3 wins in their last 5 home league games, providing interim head coach Prensia Wowusu and his team the best platform to make amends with disgruntled fans.
Ready to face House of Folk. When it comes to House of Folk and Kotoko, I don't count by what has happened before. It's the performance on the day on the pitch and how bad the other team wants it. That's what gives the results. So we are also starting to try and get ourselves ready for the game.
Hearts of Oak, on the other hand, have struggled for goals, with inconsistency the theme of their season. With a strong defensive backline, the Phobians have only let in 7 goals. However, their failure to pick up a win at the Baba Yara since 2018 echoes loudly on the minds of fans. The fears of Hearts fans is further heightened by their failure to win a competitive game against Kotoko in their last 5 matches, a record that Hearts of Oak head coach Didi Dramani is eager to obliterate.
The preparations is not just today. The preparations is just like any other league game, but this comes with its own commitment, energy, effort, everything. The Super Clash is always their game. They should take it and own it. They should let it be a belonging, and then they should keep supporting the club, and they should keep putting their hopes behind the club, and then keep pushing.
Fans of both sides remain divided as they vie for their bragging rights.
I'm okay because passing through my insurance to us in Sasa. Media combo drunk, I mean, but has 2 names. The way they are losing, we consider and score them 2 names.
The battle lines have been drawn. The destination for the 2025-2026 Ghana Premier League title hinges on this tie. Kotoko, 5th in the league, are after only their 2nd league win in 2026, whereas Hearts of Oak are bent on preventing the Porcupine Warriors from completing a league double over them.
Of course, that match will take place on Sunday at 5 p.m. and it will be live on TV3. But let's look at some other fixtures in the Ghana Premier League ahead of the weekend. Of course, Vision FC defeated 11 Wonders earlier today by 3 goals to 0. Mediama versus Ediana was halted by rain, and the scoreline was 1-1 at 67 minutes. It's expected to continue tomorrow morning. There's Bechem United versus Young Apostles, Bekum Chelsea versus Hearts of Lions, Gold Stars versus Holy Stars, Dreams versus Karela, Hoho United versus Nations FC, Swedru All Blacks versus Samatex, and of course, the Super Clash between Asante Kotoko and Hearts of Oak. Now, to African football, the president of the Confederation of African Football, that is Patrice Motsepe, has firmly rejected claims that the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations could be stripped from its East African host. Addressing journalists at the CAF Executive Committee meeting in Dar es Salaam, Motsepe rubbished the reports by The Guardian, which suggested that infrastructure challenges in the host countries might force CAF to reconsider the venue. Meanwhile, Motsepe has firmly reaffirmed that Morocco remains the official host of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, putting to rest speculation that had cast uncertainty over the tournament's venue.
To tell Tanzania and Kenya and Uganda that I'm taking away the AFCON because our 3 countries are not going to be ready. That's totally unfounded. Like in this context, that I am enormously confident that we will succeed. Will there be challenges? there are always challenges. There were many countries that wanted to host it, but because we didn't have time, our standards were very, very high. So there's still many, many countries that are interested. As we speak now, we still have an engagement with Morocco. So the WAFCON continues. It's going to be successful, and we will make sure that it takes place. It has to take place, Samson.
That was Dr. Patrice Motsepe, the president of the Confederation of African Football. Bringing an end to sports here on News 360. My name is Billy Shen. There's more on the bulletin after the break.
Brought to you by GTP Lifestyle and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil. Powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. I'm Esiedua Afeni. Let's take a look at the latest in the world of entertainment. Northern-based Afropop and rap sensation Sharif Abdul-Majid, popularly known as Macasio, has called for healthy competition between artists in the northern music industry. Macasio, who emerged winner ahead of 8 other nominees in the 5 northern regions at the just-ended Northern Music Awards, reaffirmed his dominance and influence within northern Ghana music scene.
The just-ended Ghana Northern Music Awards 2025 celebrated outstanding talent who have made significant contributions to the growth and recognition of music across northern Ghana. The maiden edition brought together artists, industry players, and music lovers for a night filled with excellence, creativity, and cultural pride. The ceremony honored deserving individuals and groups across various genres, including rap, hip-hop, gospel, reggae, dancehall, and Afrobeat. Speaking at a short ceremony to present a car prize to Macasio, the Afro-pop sensation called for investment in northern music industry. The Ghana Northern Music Awards has positioned itself as a credible platform for celebrating and promoting northern Ghana's musical talent, with organizers and stakeholders expressing optimism that the scheme will continue to elevate the region's music onto national and international stages.
In some more stories, the family of the late gospel musician Yao Sapong, led by musical president Mr. Simons, paid a courtesy visit to the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts to formally inform the sector minister Ablaji Fagomashi of his passing and announce funeral rites. That's it for entertainment. I'm Esiedwa Afeni.
On the international front, the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights says rapid support forces violations in Sudan during the capture of the city of Al-Fashir amounts to war crimes and possible crimes against humanity. Darfur's Al-Fashir fell to RSF forces in October 2025 after a long siege that led to mass killings. The UN Human Rights Office says it documented more than 6,000 killings in the first 3 days of the RSF offensive.
Thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. We appreciate your time. There's always more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby Annan.
And I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.